Geeks, nerds, gamers, and trolls. This is your MMOBomb.com first look at KurtzPel, a free-to-play online action multiplayer game currently available in early access on Steam, completely free-to-play. Download it, try it out if you want. We're going to be spending the next few minutes seeing what the game looks like, sounds like, plays like, help you decide if it's a game that you would like to try. And right off the bat, I'm going to have to say I'm not usually a fan of the anime style artwork, but this is a gorgeous game. I'm showing this dragon off from the beginning because it was the favorite boss that I've fought so far. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I love the animations, love the combat. We're going to talk about the game and what all it has to offer. This is an action combat game where your mouse controls where you're looking, WAS and D move. The left mouse button controls basic attacks, the right mouse button controls your special attack. Then you've got your keys on your keyboard which activate other abilities. Your basic attack and special attacks are stamina based, as well as your dodge roll, which is bound to shift. Then your special abilities that are bound to your keys are mana based, and you kind of want to use a combination of those. There is a combo system in the game, as you can see on the top right. It's giving me combo suggestions. I'm not very good at utilizing those right now, but there are combos in the game. You can do things like knock smaller enemies up in the air and then jump and chase them and pull off a combo mid-air. All kinds of awesome combos. The animations are good. The combat is really fluid. I enjoy the abilities. They're nice. They're big. Have lots of nice particle effects. Everything looks super awesome and super powerful when you do it, like that jump right there. You can see the environment sort of reacts to some of the abilities, knocking up parts of the ground. So everything feels really good. During the combat, you can see in the far bottom left, I'm building up a meter for my ultimate, which is bound to Q. And I don't think I get it off on this guy. I think I die a couple times with this guy. You can die like twice the third time you're out kind of deal. There is multiplayer in that you can queue up with a party and do these missions together. And then there's also PvP available, which is 2v2. A big part of the game. A lot of folks jumping on the PvP. We're not showing any of that in this video. We're just Care Bearing it up just to kind of show you what the game sort of looks like. So the artwork and animation is gorgeous, even coming from someone who doesn't typically enjoy the anime stuff. Combat feels really smooth. It's really fast-paced. Everything flows well together. You've got the two different resources you have to utilize, the stamina and the mana, and also you're working on filling up your meter for your ultimate. Now, if you die, it will respawn you a couple of times. There's a short 10-second timer, and you'll respawn with full health, but you'll lose all progress you've made on your ultimate ability, so you're going to be starting over, trying to charge that up. Now, when you're in a mission fighting a boss, it's really cool. Combat's fun. Everything is super fluid. But the game itself is actually a lobby-based game, so you're going out after this fight, you go to a lobby, and you just walk up to the mission map, and you select your next mission, which is basically just go fight another boss. And right now, the game in its early access state, at least, is rinse and repeat on that. It's go fight a boss. The fights are taking between 5 to 6 minutes, and you go back to the lobby. You gain two types of credits, AP and CP. One's an in-game currency, the other was to help level up your character. And then you just go to the map and you go fight another boss. And that's about all there is to it right now. It's a little repetitive. You will fight bosses over and over again. So far I haven't fought like the same boss 2 or 3 times in a row, but I have gone back and fought like a Golem boss that I think we'll see some footage of here in a minute. I have fought that one a couple of times already, so different bosses you'll see over and over. So pretty repetitive, but the combat is fun and entertaining. And if you jump into the 2v2 PvP, that's going to help break that up a little bit. So as you can imagine, with a game that is based around repetitive boss fights and doing the same thing sort of over and over again, the grind to level up can get quite intense later on. First few levels, you need a certain amount of points to reach your first upgrade, which is going to increase like your weapon damage. And then for the next level up, you're going to need more points to do that next time. So it's going to be a longer run before you get the next upgrade. So just keep that in mind. It's, you know, some folks don't mind the grind and going in and out and doing the same thing over and over. But just know that that is sort of the core of the gameplay right now, unless you want to break things up with PvP. If you want to do straight PvE, you're just going to be going in, fighting a boss, go to the lobby, go in, fight a boss, go to the lobby.
Out of my way!
Now, I do have some more combat footage to show you, but let's jump out to the character creator real quick and take a look at it. We'll start with the females, ladies first, and basically you can choose sort of what it calls your maturity. So I guess if you want to make a small child or a big Amazon, that's up to you. You do have overall sort of body type. You can go from chunky to skinny to real muscular. And then over on the right, I didn't play with it this time, but I will play with it when we show off the males, sort of further adjustments of the body type. Just a few options for eyes. You can change your eye color with the scale down there. You do have several pupil choices. Don't know how much you're going to be looking into the eyes of your character, but you do have several pupil choices and eyebrows. And so skin color, as you can see, you can make something super pink. Facial features, you can add freckles, lipstick, a couple of little small facial markings, things like that. So there are a few options, lots of sliders, not a ton of options, but a few, enough so far that you can make a pretty unique character. And once we get into the hairstyles, which we're getting into now, you'll see where you're actually going to get more creative ability out of that, because there's several different areas of the hair that you can adjust, like the front here, and there's actually quite a number of options there. So if you combine like a unique option with the front with something different in the back, you can use little things that hang down on the side if you want. And then they've got what they call tails, which is like really flowy parts that really flow off your hair. As you can see, the long hair really flows back and forth, super anime style, whenever you move the character around. So lots of options for the hair, at least. Skin color and body type, you can change up. Your face is gonna look pretty similar to everybody else's. So we'll continue just exploring hair features for just a minute. And here's that part where you can see the tails and they just kind of flow off the back. Then we'll get to what everybody's waiting for, the boob sliders. Because it wouldn't be a super heavy anime game without some epic boob sliders. And there are no less than 2 sliders dedicated to the boobs. One is size, the other is perkiness. And then the last 2, it says hip slider, but it's actually, as you can see, I just noticed, it's actually a butt slider. And all 4 of these are available for both the male and the female. So you can get butt size and butt tightness on the male and the female, and you get boob size and boob perkiness. And you can also do it on the male as well. And jumping over to the male, we'll just run through these pretty quickly. It's all pretty much the same options, other than you're looking at a male instead of a female. Most of the hair options, from what I saw, were pretty much identical. You can make long flowing hair for the male, included with the same tails and pigtails and the whole shebang. Everything you can do for the female, you can do for the male, including giving lipstick, which is, I think I do right here. So pretty similar options for each one. And as we go through and just let you take a look at some of what you can do with a male character, we'll eventually get to the butt and boob sliders for the male as well. And here you go. We're going to play with his chest, just like we did the ladies. And then we'll swing him around, and for those who want to see it, we'll twerk his butt a little bit. As you can see, it kind of does the same thing. His butt doesn't stick out nearly as much as the female. You can't make quite the bubble booty, but yeah, you can flex that thing real good. Moving along, here's a real quick glimpse of what the lobby looks like. And I'm going to go interact with this NPC over here and choose a reputation that I want to increase with another NPC while I'm doing missions. And this is going to get me different rewards as you level up those reputations. Looks like there were, I believe, 4 that I could choose from. And you can get things like cooldown percentage, or the one I end up choosing is actually going to, as I level up, give me some rewards, like unlocking gloves and a ring and things like that. So different rewards you can get from leveling up these reputations, and you can just do those by selecting which ones you want to work on and just run missions like you normally would. Now, we will finish up with a little more gameplay, but I wanted to jump in and talk about monetization here, because there is a little bit of controversy to talk about with this as well. First of all, the marketplace and the item store, you can jump in and purchase things with real-world money. As you can see, it opens the Steam window in order to do that. Downloading the game through Steam, of course, free-to-play, early access, available right now. There are lock boxes. Some of those lock boxes do contain weapons. The amount of power those weapons provide I've seen some debate here and there. Some of them say it's just the same as your starter weapons. Some say that it's a slight increase. Either way, just know there is the ability to get weapons out of certain lock boxes. Other lock boxes are just customization items. Those are available for real money. Now, one of the updates that the developer has put out has stated that they want those lock boxes to be purchasable with the in-game currency, I believe the CP, and they're going to be implementing that with an update probably in June 2019 at some point, is what they're stating with the EU release of the game. So they're planning on changing that a little bit, but just know that there are lock boxes in the game. And as we move on to gameplay, we'll talk about the other big controversy that hit the game right when it initially launched out of beta into early access. Now, a free-to-play game has loot boxes. That's probably not the biggest shocker in the world to most of you. What didn't make players happy coming out of beta into early access was that of the 4 classes available, I'm playing the sword class, or they call them karmas. You can start out with a sword or a bow, and then you can work to unlock 2 other classes. The other 2 classes, once it went into early access, ended up locked behind a paywall, and players revolted pretty heavily, review bombed the game on Steam, letting know their displeasure to the developers. They've since come in and changed that. They've taken away the paywall that those 2 classes are behind. Now you just have to grind to unlock them and level up like you normally would. For those who had gone ahead and purchased those 2 classes with money, they're offering some compensation in the form of some costumes and some other items if you had purchased both. So they're being compensated, not refunded, but compensated with other cosmetic type items. So yes, there was some controversy about some classes being put behind a paywall. That has, as of this recording, been removed entirely, and they're now, you can just grind them out and unlock them just like you normally would. And other than the game being a little repetitive, just lobby boss, lobby boss, lobby boss, that was one of the big reasons the game currently has mixed reviews on Steam with some of the monetization issues. Just know that, at least as of right now, the developers have made good on the class behind paywall issue, and they say they're going to address the lockbox issue. They're not taking them out of the game. They are going to make them available to obtain with in-game currency. So lockboxes are a thing. They will remain a thing. But the developers themselves have made pretty strong statements that they don't like the pay-to-win elements either. That wasn't their intention going in, and they said that they want to make sure there's no pay-to-win in the game. So far, they've made good on that. At least one of the big controversies. The other one yet to be resolved. I say resolved. Can lockboxes ever really be resolved if they remain in the game? But you can at least obtain them not just with cash money in the future, as of sometime later in the next month or 2. So my final thoughts on KurtzPel is the action combat is really fun. One thing I don't like, as you can see, the bosses themselves actually don't have like physical hitboxes. You can walk into the boss. Obviously they have hitboxes for your attacks, but not for you. Like, you're not going to collide with the boss. So you're going to find yourself, as some of the attacks move you forward, especially with a melee class, just in the middle of the boss, and sometimes it can be hard to see what's going on. I take a lot of damage sometimes standing in stuff that I didn't realize was happening because I'm staying in the middle of the boss. But the combat itself feels good. The game is gorgeous to look at, and as I've said a couple times already, not usually a fan of the anime style, but I love the way this game looks. It is beautiful, and I enjoy the aesthetics of it. Sometimes bright, colorful can make your eyeballs bleed a little bit. This doesn't do that. It's just a nice balance of bright and colorful and some of the darker stuff going on with the shadows. So, love the way the game looks, love the way the game feels as far as combat. Unfortunately, it is a repetitive grind, and that's about all there is to it. If you wanted to get into PvP, you can do that, but overall, it's just keep going in and doing these boss missions, and that's not going to entertain me, especially if rewards come really slow in between, as they appear to do right now. So, just keep that in mind. If you want to try it out, it's fluid, it's gorgeous, it's fun to actually fight the bosses. You can jump in with a buddy and 2-player that sucker, but you're going to be doing the same thing several times. So if you're into that kind of game, I'd give it a shot. If you're just completely turned off by doing the same thing over and over, you might want to skip this one, at least for now. But that's KurtzPel, free to play, early access, available on Steam right now. you think you might be interested, just download it and check it out. Worst that can happen is you don't like it and you uninstall it. I can't give it just an absolutely glowing review, but if you think you're interested, I think it's something that could be worth your time if what you've seen so far seems like something you'd like to play. But that's going to do it for now. The game is still in early access, so just keep in mind anything can change at any moment. just always remember that when we're doing first looks, especially at early access games. As always, be sure to head over to MMOBomb.com for all the latest news and information on free-to-play games that you should try. I've been the Noob Fridge, Troy Blackburn. You can check me out on Twitter at NoobFridge. But as I die horribly to this dragon, this first look is done. I am out. I do beat the dragon, even if it is just barely.
Not over.